I just asked him, look, is there anything that was in your movies that was set in Los Angeles that you couldn't make or had to hit the cutting room floor? And he was like, actually, there's a thing that I really, really wanted to make but couldn't make at the time.
How did you guys do this? I mean, you come from a movie background, like this must be a dream come true to bring these Fortnite and movies, like the line has never been more blurred.
So we have this like California-inspired season that we're putting out in the game, or actually a new chapter, and the design team were like, oh, we'd love to do something that ties into Hollywood with a really authentic filmmaker. And I'm like, well, I know a few. They're like, well, we don't want to beat your fence. We want it to be Quentin Tarantino. They actually requested it to be Quentin, and we're lucky enough to through his agency, we're able to have a meeting with Quentin. And I'm not expecting a lot out of this because he's one of the greatest directors in the world. Would he really want to work with a video game? Even one of the most famous video games there. But we got into presenting, hey, this is what Fortnite is about. It's based on Battle Royale. And then bingo, straight away, Battle Royale is his favorite movie. So we got to explain the similarities between the movie and the game and how the game works and how we've had all these wonderful characters and all different IPs and crazy events. And he was mesmerized. So we got to talking about things we could do. And I just asked him, look, is there anything that was in your movies that was set in Los Angeles that you couldn't make or had to hit the cutting room floor? And he was like, actually, there's a thing that I really, really wanted to make but couldn't make at the time. And there's a chapter of Kill Bill, Yukis Revenge. And that's how this thing got going.
Gotcha.
How do you approach something like this that you're creating something that kind of everyone already kind of knew about, but also you're adapting Fortnite kind of world, but then you're also creating lost media. I mean, that's got to be so exciting for you and your team.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was stoked when they first heard about it. Kim approached us about it. I mean, we couldn't wait to get started on it. And so it was really exciting to be like, okay, well, now we're doing an animated movie that's directly from a live action movie. So there's just something really special about that opportunity. And so right away just started diving into, what could the camera language be? What could what film settings and simulations could we create, but also work directly with, Kim's team and Pat's team on like, what does that look, and finding that, balance of that kind of crispness, but also honoring that filmic live action. It was just, there's so many details in there, but it was so exciting to explore that.
Like, how do you say, like, okay, like you're basically creating like a secret little Quentin Tarantino short film? Like, how does that go hand in hand with what the Therefore does?
Well, it starts with storyboards. So we did, Pat's team and Kim's team, they actually did physical storyboard, printed it out on paper, showed him in this big binder. So that starts with the creative there, and it's very much based on his script that he wrote, 20 plus years ago, whatever that was. And from there, it actually goes into start laying it out in Unreal Engine and start doing a layout, blocking out like what's the set gonna look like. And that's where Pat's team comes in.
Yeah, I think one of the most fun aspects of this was when we went to do that actual shoot with Quentin and Uma in New York, and we brought them into a room. And the biggest thing, I said this to Kim before we started, I was like, the biggest thing is that they just feel comfortable and they feel like they're just having fun doing this scene, acting against each other. We just need to make sure that they authentically are acting across from each other and they're able to feel that they're getting the performances that they need out of this. And that immediately started happening. Like, he was so enthusiastic and he was really enjoying the process. And it was great to see. I mean, you could see in some of the behind the scenes that he's just all over the room, trying to show everybody what he wants in these shots and everything. And it was an awesome experience to be with both of them and seeing them create.
We have this technology that comes with Unreal Engine, MetaHuman Creator, MetaHuman Animator. So we basically made MetaHumans of Yuki and the bride, and they were able to, the talent was able to perform with this head mounting camera and live see their own performances. So not only did they get a feeling for how their performance would equate to the animation, but Quentin was able to actually see the nuances in the performance. And one of the things that we were actually a little bit nervous about is the performances are truly human-authored performances in these. And there was a little bit of fear for us. It's like, is that going to look weird with such an animation style? But actually it came together, and a lot of what holds this together is then performances. They're really strong performances, and I think that if we'd gone down a more traditional look on the faces, it wouldn't have worked.
Yuki. 殺したくない。
Okay.
This feels like a monumental moment in Hollywood, and I feel like at IGN, like, video games are our bread and butter, but like it must be so exciting to kind of like realize like, whoa, we're kind of making magic here.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, as a bystander, I've watched Fortnite trailblaze through this, like, all this IP crossovers. I mean, it's like never been done to this level, right? And so getting to work on something like this, but then finding the style, like you said, you mentioned it just never fails uncanny. It has like this very authentic look that's both, writing that filmic, authentic to Uma and Yuki and their look, but also has a stylization to it. And one of the things that we chose to do early on is we put the animation on twos. So we base it on the actual actors' performances, but we actually put it at a 12 frames per second frame rate. And so that actually gives it like a crispness, a little bit like stop motion animation. And that, I think, really helped it ride that line of stylization and realism and Fortnite all kind of mixed together.
Bingo!
What are the challenges of something like this? Because in my head, I'm like, oh, Quentin's gonna want to like make everything in here now. Because, well, granted, this is, I'm sure, very expensive, very time intensive. Like, what are the challenges when you do something as big as this?
I mean, I'm sure Pat has some ideas too, but I would say the challenges are the long takes. So there's really subtle performances in takes and cameras that are really close, and they just sit there and you just experience what the actors are experiencing, and that's a real challenge. And I think that's where the animators have to make sure that the bodies are working, the motion capture has to be working amazing with the performances of the actors, but also the metahuman has to be getting the face. I mean, there's a lot of things that are converging to make that all work together, and I think that was the challenge.
Being able to render live in the engine and see it right away is such a revelation, and being able to light, and I can literally sit with artists and light in real time and see things happen and then have that rendered immediately.
That was science fiction to the film business a decade ago. And now we can compose cameras, we can animate, we can light, we can see faces, we could even broadcast characters live into a game if we wanted to, with an actor actually performing them characters. So we have a whole new possibility, or a whole new world of possibilities in terms of creative outlet for people that want to immerse players, immerse viewers into whole new experiences.
Was there, when Quentin Tarantino is seeing like basically the final, he's like seeing like what it's gonna look like, what was the reaction?
He said he really appreciated the fact that we could get through so much material so fast, but the fun thing was watching him watch, as we were creating this and reacting to it. He has such an authentic reaction to watching the animation play. He's laughing at the jokes, he's like really into it. He likes to watch it very intently and focus, and he it's great just to see him soak it all in. And then the notes that you get back are very much about tone and intention and things that the real filmmaker heart of him needs to have change. He doesn't give you frivolous notes. He gives you the things that are like need to happen for the characters to feel real. Because these characters, like Uma said, these are real people to him. Like these are people, and he knows how they act, and that's what he wants to get across in our animation. So.
Getting to witness him, like, watch the piece, and even in rough form, was the energy off of him. He was speaking of energy, the soda pop energy of Yuki, and how she needs to be like this bottled up, and there's all this fizz, and it's gonna burst forth from her at any moment. But I actually felt like that he was that level of energy. Like he was bringing that level of energy. He was like gonna burst out of his chair, and then he would jump up, and he's like, "Why don't you try this?" I love that moment. Let's push it further. I'll act it out for you right now. And then, of course, he's amazing at that, and jumps out of his chair, and he's like waving his arms around. He was literally crawling on the floor. He demonstrated Uma on the ground at the end. He did that on the floor of our meeting room. Just because why not? Like that's just how much energy just was bursting out. So that's really inspiring, and you get to tell your whole crew, like, oh my gosh, he was on the ground crawling. And so they'll love it.
His dedication to his art is second to none. Like, you can understand why every single movie he's made is amazing, because he is so into making the movies.
Did you guys get Quentin to play Fortnite? Did you give him? Is he a zero build?
I don't think he really has a PlayStation. We showed him plenty of it.
Platform these days.
You know, he might be playing it at the after party later on. We'll see.
Stay in your house and get down on the floor!
But I would love to know, before we go, what is something that you guys all are really excited for people to take away from this?
There are very few limits now to people's imagination being able to visualize. Who would have thought we could have done something like this? And anything's possible, and you've got the tools there. If you have a passion to make something, stuff is so accessible today to actually make stuff. You know, even the camera that's filming us right now, everybody can actually make great content today. And if that's your passion, go ahead and make it. And don't worry about, is it a game, is it a movie? You can choose your path, and you don't have to do it instantly. Day one, you could start just by making some characters you can animate, and then you're like, okay, maybe I do build that into a game, or maybe I tell a linear story, or something that nobody's ever seen before.
I hope that there are other filmmakers watching this too and thinking, I've got stories I want to tell. You know, I feel like there's people that just haven't considered what you can do with the engine and animation in this style, and being able to just tell great stories in any style that you want, really, with the engine, I think is something that I hope people take to.
You think you are safe? Well, I say